Just tweeting this out, everyone. Hang tight.
Tweeting out, what's up? We are Essential TV, Game of Thrones episode recap, season 6, episode 4, with Luke and Joe. And this is Luke, and I am Joe.
Yes,
Hello,
and I'm hi. I'm good.
What'd you think?
I'm just tweeting this out.
Oh, you're tweeting it out. Gotcha.
I have to tweet it out so people find us.
Ah, yes, the internet. Got it. Are we live?
We're live.
We are live.
We are live.
So first of all, we have a tradition. Luke and I don't talk about the episode till right now, so I'm going to first ask Luke.
You have permission to freak out, though.
What did you... By the way, I cried at the beginning of this episode and at the end.
What about the middle?
Now, the middle I enjoyed, but I straight up cried at the beginning. I cried when Sansa saw Jon and they hugged, and then I cried when Khaleesi was nude in the flames. I couldn't even handle that.
Tears of joy.
Tears of joy.
Tears of joy.
Right.
How many of you cried during this episode?
Did we have a lot of tears? How many ounces of tears?
Oh yeah, if you didn't start the season, then yes, you cannot watch this because we will ruin everything.
Don't watch an episode recap show if you don't watch the episodes.
We are 4 episodes in, so
4 in, and stuff's really starting to shape up.
Stuff's happening.
Absolutely.
Khaleesi pulled off another Misa. This is
Yes.
episode 4. Yes, this is season 6, episode 4.
Which was called something about a book? The Book of the Stranger? Can we go
Katerina is back. Thank you for joining us again.
Book of the Stranger. Let's go right into that for a second. Why was it called Book of the Stranger? This was a great episode, but I don't know why it was called that.
I actually don't know.
Does anyone know why it was called Book of the Stranger?
By Tormund in Paris. Does anyone know why this was called Book of the Stranger?
I saw no book, no stranger.
I don't know.
I was confused by that. Other than that fantastic episode, just the title was a little confusing.
Everyone wants to talk about Osha. We'll get to Osha.
We'll get to Osha. We will get to Osha. And we have a cool little screen slideshow.
We're working on visuals, right?
We got some technology happening.
Okay, so I just want to tell you, first of all, as I said, this is the 4th episode of season 6, and there are only 10 episodes in a season.
Yes, so we're almost at the 50% mark.
Next episode, after that's over, we are officially
that
halfway
means pretty
through.
much 6 weeks till we're depressed for another year.
We
so
just
winter really
start?
is almost coming.
Did we just start this or what? What's happening?
It goes
here?
quick.
It goes quick.
It's ridiculous. They should every channel should just be HBO, and every show should be that show.
Yes, I think that Brienne can communicate in his visions, but I don't know if he can do it to a degree that it's useful.
Well, we have yet to find out as he grows with the old man in the tree.
Right.
That's for sure.
Okay, so the first thing, we'll talk about Daenerys Targaryen.
Little Danny.
Right. Daenerys Stormborn, Targaryen.
What did I call from the beginning? I said she's gonna from the end of last season. I prophesized that she's gonna once again be in charge of all of the Dothraki. She's gonna become the Khaleesi that she was meant to be, and now she has her army is 10 times the size now.
I am super excited that the Dothraki are joining her army.
Yeah.
Finally, we get a scene of Dany being a badass, Katerina. Finally, it has been a while. There's a lot of politics that have happened. Like last season, it was like her standing around, and it was boring.
What's going on in Meereen, actually, also, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but that also started to get interesting. All the stories that were kind of weaning a little bit or waning got really cool.
Anurag Mohan, I feel Dario is going to go against or turn against Daenerys. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. He definitely bent the knee. I think now that he's seen what he's seen, that's it.
Yeah, he knows to pick the winning side.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I have a question for the audience. This is a stupid question, but don't you think you would have... I mean, is she fireproof since she was born? And maybe like Jon Snow is also... Like, don't you think they would have found that out by accident?
I think that there's this misunderstanding about being fireproof.
Like, she's
being
very fireproof.
Like, I think that the gene for being fireproof runs in the Targaryen bloodline, but just because, like, if you're a Targaryen, doesn't mean you're fireproof.
No, but she is...
Your phone on?
I definitely hear some type of...
I think I'm hearing
from the computer
TV.
or something. That's okay.
I'm hearing an echo. Okay.
Right. We don't like the sound of our own voices.
Okay.
We hope you guys do.
I do want to interject and say, Yecart1975 says, I'd love to curl your hair with a pair of tongs.
Well, come on over. We're in New York City. A pair of tongs.
You got to bring your own tongs.
Yeah, I don't have tongs. Do tongs curl hair? I'd recommend a hair curler, probably, right? Yeah, this 2016.
I mean, tongs, I guess if you heat them up.
I think we live in the future now.
We need to talk about Jorah. Everyone wants to talk about Jorah. We'll get to Jorah.
Yeah, and Daario's bullying of him, bullying an old man with grayscale.
I mean, was Daario a bit of a jerk?
And he being like a sore winner.
Like, I kind of liked it in one of the earlier episodes where Daario looks at Jorah and says,
"What's up to him?
You're kind of what I imagine I'll be when I'm old." But now he's just being a real jerk.
Yeah, and I also, a lot of things happened this episode. Like, I knew Daenerys would get saved, but I thought it would be from the dragons. She kicked ass and took over with no dragons.
She did it.
And she used her powers. I didn't see a bunch of things happen that I didn't see. I didn't see Jorah who saw Jorah getting his ass handed to him in a fight?
I mean, it was against that Dothraki guy.
So what?
And he was unarmed. He's a swordsman.
They were both. That's true.
He's a swordsman.
But they were both unarmed. I mean, he really, he had to throw sand at them.
He missed.
And he missed. Awesome. I felt so bad.
I've never seen someone throw sand and miss on TV or in a movie. That's awesome.
Ridiculous.
Board Boy says, yeah, I think it's in her genes from her Targaryen past, being fireproof.
So don't you think she would have found that out growing up, by accident?
But only the true rulers were fireproof.
Right.
So her brother was not fireproof.
But if she was, did she become a true ruler, or was she born a true ruler?
I mean, she might have been prophesized. I'll get to that, the prophecy, right? And yes, someone asked why they smashed that guy with a rock. They did it because
you're not allowed to have weapons.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have weapons in the Dothraki city. So if there was a stab wound, they know an outsider had come in.
Right.
Right. Okay. The grayscale's getting to him. That's a good.
And now Daario knows. And he's all like, "Yo, don't touch me with that medieval herpes."
You thought I was a jerk before.
Herpes is really what it is. You got to be careful with that stuff.
Okay, yeah, he's getting weak because of the grayscale. Everyone's saying. So,
that could be. That's who said that. Shout out to that person.
Katerina and Ms. Fragdoll.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's weak. And if anything, or does it make you like the Thing from Fantastic Four?
Oh, and good night to Yecart 1975. Thanks for joining.
Yes, it probably just makes you stronger.
What, grayscale?
I don't know.
No, okay, so let's say Jorah's turning into a rock man. Daenerys is fireproof. Right. Now we need Daario to go invisible.
Right. We have no. Arya's going to be invisible. We're going to have
she's no one.
And we have the dragon to be. Yeah, we're
someone
has
a Fantastic
Four situation. Absolutely.
Okay, so
so do we all agree that Daenerys was amazing? That was really an amazing thing that she did. And props to her as an actress for willing to go nude again, because we had discussed last time that she
came out and said that was in fact her.
That was not a body double. And honestly, those breasts were commanding. They were intimidating.
We'll get to those.
It was not sexy. It was more like, yo, wow, bow down to you and everything.
So I wanted to talk about prophecy because we talked about was she fireproof from the day she was born? Whatever. The prophecy I want to get to was, and when we see. Whenever Daenerys was with old Khal Drogo, and they were in that temple where it all went down last night, the prophecy was that her offspring, their child, Khal Drogo, would be the stallion that mounts the world. No, I've not read the books, but I'm pretty up on what happens in the books. I read about the books, but I don't read the books.
Right.
Right.
And this is the future, so who reads books? You read about the books. Right?
You have them
read
books
into your
about
mind. The books. That makes sense.
Was she not unburnt when the dragons were born? She maybe it meant. Well, no.
No, she definitely was unburnt when they were born.
But she had the power before because remember in the first episode,
she goes into that boiling
boiling water, and she walks in, and we're as viewers we have no idea what's going on, but her people around her.
Also, she touches the dragon eggs once, and she doesn't get burned.
Exactly. So she had that. There were always signs.
But her brother could be burnt. That's why
the eggs out of the fire, the scalding bath.
Yeah.
So she always had that. But anyway, this prophecy was that their child would be the stallion who mounts the world. And
Rhaego.
Rhaego, yeah.
Rhaego.
So my question is...
It's a great name for kids, by
Is
the
way. Prophecy wrong? Is Daenerys actually the stallion who would mount the world? Right? Because she was reborn in the fire. So it might have been the prophecy might have been mistranslated, misinterpreted, where they were thinking it's someone who's born of Daenerys and Khal Drogo,
which is her,
which you would think would be her child or their child, but it actually could be her.
She had to give birth to that stillborn monster or whatever before she was able to become that. So
So the theory is that she became the stallion who mounts the world. Yep, makes sense because Dany can't have kids. And yet she walks into the temple and she lays this all out for us as the viewers as well as all the calls. And she brings us back to speed. She reminds us about this prophecy. And then she goes badass and
in ultimate bitch face mode. Also, that smirk that she had on her. Done. I'd bow down just to the smirk, let alone the fact that she's fireproof. She doesn't even need to be fireproof with that smirkiness.
She doesn't even need to be naked.
Here's to the smirk. So Daenerys, that's it. She's it.
She's on her way, right? She's got the Dothraki, she's got the Unsullied, she's got all the other mercenaries. Tyrion can handle the city, right? Someone says yes, she needs to be naked.
Yes.
I don't think it's a prerequisite.
Right.
I haven't heard any complaints.
I would imagine if you're riding a dragon, you don't want to be naked. You would want some type of rider's outfit. I assume.
She rides the dragon
unless
naked.
You put
to
a saddle on the dragon.
Are
there dragon saddles? I think she just holds on to the horns.
She straps right on.
Right.
Saddle might be more comfortable if you're naked.
Right.
So she's got it all, and they also hinted at the boats. Because when Tyrion is talking to the slave masters, he mentioned specifically that one of them had offered them boats.
Right.
And their boats had been destroyed.
Which was nice to see that character again since season 3 or whatever it was. And I liked how they threw in that slave master also.
And yes, there are many theories.
Yes, that's for sure.
there are too many theories about this show.
That's pretty much what this show boils down to.
This is why we're talking. Because
do you guys think that Daenerys is going to be unhappy with what Tyrion did?
I don't think she cares.
You don't think she cares?
I don't think she necessarily. I think she loves conquering and she doesn't like ruling.
Right.
What about the new Red Lady? I'll get to that. That is an interesting twist.
Oh, we see her next week. Yeah. I don't know.
We'll get to the previews at the end, but there's a lot of things to say.
I know she's cute and she's got that choker on. But
yep. Liam says she'll be angry. I think.
Is that Ian McShane's character? Who knows? Oh, you think Daenerys is going to be angry?
I think that was the smartest move at the moment. I don't know. Like I said, I think she loves to conquer and she doesn't like to rule. But I think
Tyrion will probably talk her into it and explain that this was the right thing to do.
I think he's the guy. He's going to rule the city, and she's going to go off and conquer, and she's going to get those Dothrakis onto a boat.
And the Dothrakis,
and they're going to have to get the boats from that slaver.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it's all going to come together.
Yeah.
And whether it's next season,
it's not going to be this season. The big battle in this season is going to be going down.
I'm going to make a prediction.
At the castle, at their castle, probably Castle Black,
probably Winterfell
or Winterfell,
unless that's next up. It's not going to be next episode.
Depending on who comes.
Probably episode 9.
And do we think? I don't want to transition too fast, but with Littlefinger, and I definitely want to talk about Littlefinger. But are the Knights of the Vale going to storm Castle Black?
Yeah, I think they're coming into the mix.
So are they going to be joining Jon Snow? I'm assuming.
I think it makes sense. I'll get to that.
Hold on. Okay.
Last thing on the Dothraki, my prediction. Just like last season ended with Arya getting on the boat and going to Braavos, I think this ends with the Dothraki walking their horses onto boats.
I like that, and just their army going to King's Landing.
Right. Like, we can't wait to see that happen.
I would hope Daenerys rides the dragon and doesn't use a boat. I don't know. If you got airplanes, you really want to get on a rickety ship.
She'd get their way ahead of them.
All right.
I think.
I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense.
They could lead first.
Right.
So I want to remind you all to share, follow. Please restream this. We're going to try to get some more people in here. Keep sending questions, comments. We're trying to read them, but sometimes they go by too quickly.
If we don't answer your comment, just keep asking it till we get to it.
I think she's going to be upset, but the Dothraki, Unsullied, and Dragons, Essos at her mercy. You know what? She's at her best when she's upset.
Do you think Tyrion would have made that deal if he knew that Khaleesi just got another 20,000 people in her army or something like that?
I think that if he knew that was happening, it would definitely change the whole plan.
He'd be like, yo, fuck you guys. We don't have to make anything because we have
They're going to need those boats.
We have more soldiers.
He's making a deal for boats.
Yeah.
Whether he knows it or not, that's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing.
So thank you, Niam, for sharing on Twitter. And also, because this is embedded in Twitter, feel free to retweet. We would appreciate that. Okay, so I want to just jump to the next storyline.
Yes, the next storyline.
Okay, yeah, the Sons of the Harpy would have been a problem no matter what. I don't know if they're just going to sweep them under the rug now that Tyrion made the deal. It doesn't seem like it. Grey Worm knows that that's not.
But like we said, it's something that they have to tie up for Khaleesi to leave.
He's just trying to make the calm before the storm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they're just tying that up. That'll be an easy way to get those masked villains out of there, and so be it.
Hola to our Spanish friends, and we already have a Brienne and Tormund
Let's
forever and
yes,
hi to
that is
Brazil.
The greatest relationship. So psyched on that. And didn't he once talk about not to compare a human being to a bear, but didn't Tormund like have sex with bears? Doesn't he talk about that?
There's something about a bear and Tormund, but I don't remember what it was.
But I'm just saying, the dude obviously likes a challenge, and I can't think of any more female human challenge than Brienne.
Brienne will kill Melisandre? ? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I think Melisandre bent the knee to Jon Snow.
I think Davos and Melisandre are falling in line now, and I think Brienne got her revenge against Stannis, and she's basically bragging to them. So I think their quarrel's over. They don't need to like each other.
I don't think Davos really even cares that Stannis is dead anymore.
And yes, Brienne fought a bear. Tormund doesn't even know.
No, not Brienne. Brienne fought a bear.
He doesn't even know that.
He doesn't even know that.
Imagine how impressed he'll be when he finds out about that.
Yeah. If anything, Brienne's going to fuck Tormund. For sure. That's what's going to happen. She's going to take him, I think, is what's going to go down.
I think so. Okay.
They're going to have beautiful children. That's for sure.
Yes. So we saw this loving reunion. Sorry.
Which brought me to tears. You know, they have never shared a screen before. They have never been in
the first season.
No, they've not in the first season. They've never been in the same shot.
Are you sure?
Positive. Yeah.
Is that correct? Fact check this guy.
Me, but they've never been on screen before.
Has Sansa and Jon Snow ever been on screen together before?
I'm going to go with no. I'm putting my gold dragon.
I mean, I don't remember a specific scene. But
no, because he wasn't like those feasts with all of them. He wasn't allowed in the feasts because he was the bastard.
Right,
he wasn't there when they all meet the king because he was a stain.
They probably just
on
look
the
at each other
family.
first
So they've never been to.
I don't think so.
No, not
Let's
even.
go with no, just for fun.
No, I think it's not even just for fun. I think maybe I looked it up.
I don't know.
I'm pretty positive that this is the first time.
In the pilot episode, waiting for the king to arrive.
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
That's what I was thinking, but
he wasn't there in the same way that he wasn't invited to that feast. Like the last time anyone ever got along with each other.
I'm going to go back and look at that photo, but it's plausible. It's
he
plausible
wasn't there.
Because Catelyn wouldn't have wanted him there.
No, in the same way they didn't want him.
Yeah, got to watch the pilot again. Damn.
Yeah.
He wasn't
By the way,
allowed to be
watch
there.
the pilot again. It's bittersweet.
Here, Lex says, no, he's a bastard. It would be disrespectful.
Yes, that's why. That's why.
Yeah, he wasn't there, I remember.
Yeah, so this is truly historic.
Yes. Okay. So basically, he's lying. He's like, oh, it's so great to see you again.
It was a little more cordial than the Greyjoy reunion that went down, which was slightly more aggressive, but we'll get to that.
And watching the pilot is always a good idea.
Yeah.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Yes, definitely.
Someone says... Pilot Jones, I'm pretty sure he stood behind them with Theon, which would make sense.
That could be, but I'm just saying, like, just in one shot, you might actually not see them together.
Is this, besides being the first time that Sansa and Jon Snow are on screen together, is this the first time we've seen anyone of the Stark family reunited with any other member of the Stark family? And I'm not counting, like, Robb and Catelyn, who were never really forced apart.
Right, and we're not going to count Sansa and Theon?
Yeah, I mean, Theon's different.
Right, then absolutely.
It's about the closest thing being a pseudo
It's as close as we've come, but this is the first Stark reunion. This is the first positive... I guess the first positive Stark moment was, I think, when Sansa finally met Brienne and took her, was protected. But this really was the first...
The first kids with the wolves. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's the first that anyone that had wolves has been reunited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of...
I think absolutely. I think this was truly
pivotal. So we've actually been
making.
waiting for this moment the whole series since season 1. We've been waiting for two Starks, Snow, whatever, to get back together.
And again, they don't know if Bran and Rickon are still. Well, they know Rickon's still alive. They have no idea that Bran is some 1,000-year-old dude warging in and out of the future and the past. I mean, that's gonna.
Oh no! He's off on another planet. But
I don't even think that Jon. One thing
that was the closest reunion we saw, though.
Right.
Previously, when Bran was looking out that tower,
they saw each other,
and he saw Jon Snow. Jon didn't see him.
Yeah. I was curious. So the conversation, they started having kind of like a cute brother and sister conversation. But Jon doesn't bring up the fact. He doesn't bring up. Jon kind of has this had this give up mentality. But does he not still acknowledge what's coming? Whether he goes south or Jon Snow, whether he goes south or not, he still knows that he's going to have to fight.
I think he's just like over it, He's like, listen, I told you idiots.
But he also knows that he can't be over it because they're coming for him. He's going to, no matter how south he goes.
Sansa's taking no prisoners this season. It's about time.
I liked how she said she's going to do it herself. I don't know what that meant.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome. But where she's like, hey, if you're not going to take Winterfell...
She's becoming her mom. She's becoming her mom very, very quickly. Absolutely.
So, imagine if Jon Snow had not been resurrected and everything else played out the same way, where Sansa shows up at the castle.
It would have been classic Sansa.
Like, it would have been classic Stark.
Fucking terrible.
Like,
classic Stark.
You're here to see Jon. You just missed him.
You just missed him. Kind of what happened with Arya when she goes to the Vale with her
that
aunt.
actually, it lucked out with Arya finding Robb and Catelyn, the Red Wedding.
Yes.
Remember, Arya almost catches up with them, and
Which
she would have been killed
bad.
too.
She would have been killed also. Absolutely.
Sansa has had it the roughest. She absolutely has. Theon.
I think
Theon's had it pretty bad.
The roughest.
They've both had it pretty bad.
They've all had it pretty bad.
I mean, there aren't many happy stories in this world. Out of the Starks, yes, Sansa definitely... I mean, Jon Snow was killed. That's pretty bad, but I don't think he suffered as much.
Sansa didn't watch
Jon
her
is in that
pregnant
I
wife
just
get
died
stabbed in the
FML
stomach
mindset.
10 times. That's probably worse than
Robb
getting raped.
had it pretty bad.
That's pretty terrible.
But Sansa's misery has lasted. Right?
Yeah, it's been
Everyone else
chronic.
has bad moments that it's like, oh, and now I'm dead.
Yeah, and there's no, Prozac and Klonopin in Westeros. Well, there's Milk of the Puppy.
There you go.
Are there Milk of the Puppy addicts?
What happened with Stannis' sword? I don't know. That's a good question. I wonder if...
Stannis' sword, why? Was it special?
I don't know. Was it Valyrian steel?
Did Stannis have a special sword?
He's Stannis. He should have.
That's a good question. Feel free to chime in.
I would imagine Brienne would have taken it if it was special.
If it was special, probably. She has a special sword. That's for sure.
She has a Valyrian steel sword.
Yeah. I also like the way, just getting back to her marching into Castle Black, Jon Snow aside, and maybe Tormund, she walks in. She's probably one of the strongest people in Castle Black
Brienne?
right now. Yeah, I mean, most of them are not really seasoned fighters.
Now they've got another giant.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. And I was curious when they were talking about, like, how many soldiers do we have? Do we have 2,000? Are they taking the giant into account?
Threadla Tartarian? Is that Stannis' sword? Tyrion?
I'm sure in the book he has some type of magical sword.
He's got to have... It's probably named.
But is the giant going to be in this battle?
Where's
He's
this
gonna be
giant?
in the battle.
Where are they... I mean, is there...
He does a lot of sitting down. I think he just kind of hangs out. I think he needs so much food and energy to move.
He's probably out there like chasing cows down and eating them whole.
I don't think he chases. I think he probably has to just not expend energy and just kind of sit there a lot, really
Giant
slowly.
hibernation.
The giant hibernation, yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about Ramsay, who, as I tweeted last night, is officially the worst pen pal ever.
Yes, don't correspond with Ramsay, absolutely.
Come and see.
Come and see. By the way, that's the most terrifying line to me in all 6 seasons, is that insane come and see part. Like, that's
That was
crazy.
pretty great.
He's scary. He's a scary dude. I didn't see him... I didn't think Osha was going to kill him, but I didn't see it going down exactly how it went down. I thought, if anything, she'd catch him trying to kill...
It's so disappointing if you're Osha and you've been out of the show since season 3, and she just comes back last episode at the end, and... Now she's gone again.
She's out.
Now she's gone again.
And it was that type of
They're
stab where it's like they're going to give her
storylines.
7 seconds of realizing what's happening to just convulse.
At least she got a scene, and he didn't just kill her on the floor last episode. But it's like, that was a bit of a bummer. I was actually
a cool character.
I was looking forward to her coming back.
She was a cool character.
What about
but
you
again,
guys?
Tying up loose ends. Was only so much room.
She did her part.
She did her part. We're already introducing new characters. We have characters that we know are coming, again, like Ian McShane, like that new Red Woman. We have this new Greyjoy person. I mean, we just don't have the hours to have these characters.
We got some good comments here. First of all, do we think Tyrion is a Targaryen? The jury's out on that, but the dragon has 3 heads. We'll get to that.
I'm down for that. If a Targaryen with...
if Tywin was not
the father,
Tyrion's father,
and that's why he really hated him.
Yeah. So in that case, there would be Daenerys and Jon Snow, and Tyrion would be the 3 heads of the dragon.
Those Targaryens cannot keep track of who is really of their ilk and who is not.
Well, neither can the Baratheons or the Lannisters.
It's just a very confusing time.
So
barcodes.
Okay, Board Boy says, I like the fact he kills quickly when he needs to rather than just pointless torture. I think you're talking about Ramsay.
I'm assuming
In
Ramsay.
which case, yeah, things have changed for Ramsay. He would have taken his time with her.
I don't
if they
think
weren't
there
rushing through the story.
I don't think there was a reason for it. I think
makes him more intelligent and dangerous.
Wanted to turn Theon into a creature. Osha, there's no value.
Theon was his play toy.
Yeah,
he's not that interested in Osha.
Yeah,
Theon is more of a prize because he's the heir to the Iron Islands.
Right.
Osha's just a wildling. He can get a wildling anywhere. In fact, a bunch of them are going to be coming right to him anytime now.
Probably not the ones that he wants.
No.
But we'll see. Who do you think's going to kill Ramsay?
Oh, Niam says, the minute she was in the room, I was saying goodbye. That's very perceptive.
Kind of. He was skinning the apple. He skinned that apple alive. No, he didn't. The apple was dead, so we're good to go. Who do you think's going to kill Ramsay? Is it going to be Jon Snow? It seems too obvious.
I'd like to see Sansa do
I'd
it.
love to see Sansa.
But I'd love to see Theon do it too.
I don't think it's going to be Theon.
I don't think so. I think his
Theon's
story's off somewhere else now.
Wrapped up. But I'm going to go with
Sansa better
Sansa.
kill him.
Yeah.
Sansa. I hope Theon will. I mean, it really comes down to either of those two.
But is he going to get it in the back? Is it going to be a clean death, or is there going to be something more terrible?
It's got to be terrible.
Are we going to see Ramsay see the giant and be like, "Oh fuck"?
Ramsay,
I just want to see him.
You love. The
I love
idea.
the giant. I love the idea because they talk about
He's obsessed with the giant
when
killing
Tormund
Ramsay.
was going to bat and being like, "Oh,
the dogs.
We have 2,000
the dogs." So Ghost should kill him in that case. Wouldn't that be fitting?
I like that. But by if Sansa tells Ghost to kill him, I like that.
Yeah.
By Sansa's will or something.
Sansa
like
better kill him. Dragon bite his head off. The dogs.
I don't think Ramsay's going to see a dragon. That's not going to happen. That would be cool.
I don't think Ramsay will live to see the dragon.
Do you think Ramsay would bend the knee to Khaleesi on a dragon?
Hell no.
I don't think
he'd bend the knee to anyone.
I don't think he'd bend the knee to anyone.
Okay.
He's a goddamn inspiration, that's for sure.
Coach Alexander says, we are waiting for a happy ending. You might be waiting for a very long time. You'll get an ending.
I don't think there's going to be
I don't know if there's going to be a happy ending.
There's going to be no happy ending.
How does this show even end?
It's going to end with the dragons fighting the White Walkers. The
Is it like Daenerys or Jon Snow sits on the Iron Throne and it's like, cut to Journey and go to black?
I don't know. Or maybe it's more of that Spielberg Kubrick movie, AI, where all of a sudden they just leap 10,000 years in the future and everyone's robots and they talk about what was or something.
I hope not.
Who knows? I don't know.
Don't you think Rickon coming back to Winterfell was just a setup and it failed? I missed the rest of that. It faded. I don't know. I'm not sure if the Rickon thing being handed over as a gift is.
It's definitely bad that he's there because they can't just storm the castle.
It's bad news, but it might be some master plan.
It also, I kind of got the vibe that Jon Snow, without
there'll be another natural disaster. And they'll all die.
Without Sansa being there, it didn't even see like Jon Snow really cared. I mean, he cared, but he's been so far about Rick. He'd be so far removed.
He wouldn't even know what Rickon looked like.
No, I mean he's back from the dead.
He probably hasn't been in a scene with him either.
He fought and he lost, and he kind of
hey, I remember seeing you at the red carpet for the premiere of season 1.
Exactly, like we once met, and that's pretty much it.
So I just real quick, just because I'm thumbing through my pictures here, just want to talk about Brienne and Tormund in that moment they shared.
That is really beautiful. Eating.
There were two beautiful moments.
Yeah.
It was Sansa and Jon Snow being reunited and Tormund and Brienne.
I think they're going to be the next hot couple. They're going to be the Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie of Hollywood.
Was that a dinner date?
I'd love to see that.
That was a dinner date.
I think they're going to skip
he was
straight
all
to the
eyes.
sex for sure.
Giant babies.
They're going to go out there together and rape bears.
Sexiest moment ever. That was weird. Eating that beard. That is a challenge.
Keeping that beard clean. Even my little beard, I can't eat things like eggs or anything like that. Let alone meat on the bone.
You have to eat everything through a straw.
I eat
like milkshakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I stick the straw into the chicken leg and I suck it down.
Yeah. Oh my God! Look at this beast of a beautiful woman. I think that's probably what he was thinking.
No, it's the challenge. He makes love to bears and human beings that are, a little bit edgier than your average.
He's an edge. The wildlings are edgy.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yes, the tallest children ever. I mean, if we could just flash forward to Game of Thrones the next generation.
Right.
They would clearly just take the Iron Throne.
I'm into that.
These two.
Tormund's on a dragon. Tormund and Brienne on a dragon. Do we think Brienne has any secret bloodline?
From the Giants.
She's going to play a part. She's got the Valyrian steel sword. So she will.
I think she's going to play a big part.
She's going to make it.
There's no reason she has a Valyrian steel sword, and she's not going to use it.
Speaking of her sword, let's cut to Jaime and Cersei for a second. Jaime and Cersei just seem very powerless these days from what they were in episode 1.
They're pretty weak.
They're pretty weak.
Let's get to them next.
All right, we'll get to them next.
Because I want to talk about this guy real quick. Because we're talking about Rickon, and is Rickon a part of a conspiracy and some master plan? But I want to talk about the master of master plans. Littlefinger.
Who really has his
Peter
shit
Baelish.
together. Like, he was ready with his answers.
Yeah, like...
Turned the situation around in like 2 seconds.
He's got that kid wrapped around his
who,
little
by the
finger.
way, is definitely mildly autistic. I'm positive that he's on the spectrum in some way.
Sansa's gonna ruin Littlefinger. So...
they do meet next episode.
Yes, from the previews we know that Sansa...
And I think Littlefinger's going to talk his way out of it. Like he does all the time.
I don't think he can talk out of it now. Like, she doesn't... She needed him before, right? Because she was hopeless.
Right.
She needed him. He was the lifeline.
But
and
I
now
think,
she's
I
got
think
Jon
in the next
Snow.
show, she'd be like, "Oh, did you know about Ramsay?" He can easily be like, "No, I had no idea."
Coach Alexander says no previews. This is the preview that ran right after the episode.
Right. This is yeah.
This
we
is
didn't,
public
we didn't
knowledge.
actually see the next episode.
I haven't seen the next episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, Littlefinger, I have to wonder. So he's got an army now. He's got the Vale's army.
And are the Vale a northern army? Do they have to fight for Jon Snow? Is Jon Snow...
No, they don't have to fight
Sansa
for anyone. They'll fight for who they want.
They fight for who they want, but does the Warden of the North control the Vale?
I don't think anyone can. I think they just...
So the Vale is not in the north?
They set up the Vale
Because they set up like Sansa saying, "Oh, the houses, the true houses will come to your side. You still have friends."
I don't think that any of that means anything. I think that the Vale has been clearly set up as being virtually impenetrable.
Right.
Right. So the Vale could just hang out. And
they're their own thing. They're like what's that city at like season 2 or something like that?
Karth.
Karth. Yeah, they exist in their own.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We don't need to let you in.
Yeah.
And if we do, we'll throw you.
Do you think we'll hear from Karth again?
How did Littlefinger reach Sansa at the wall without crossing Winterfell? He went the long way around it. I don't know.
He's probably got tunnels and stuff like that. I don't know. He's got some cartel tunnels under Westeros.
Spirit Airlines.
He's got something. He's got something.
Varys and Littlefinger are the real Game of Thrones controllers. I think so. They've certainly been set up that way.
Littlefinger seems way more powerful than Varys these days.
So,
that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's on his way.
This kid's out of his mind. I'm telling you, again, he's definitely a little bit on the spectrum. Is he creepier now that he's older, or was he creepier when he was younger? Do you think he'd still be breastfeeding if his mom was still alive?
Yes.
I think so also.
Littlefinger's getting a bit like Cersei. I think he's smarter than...
He's smarter than everyone.
Yeah, but he thinks
Except
he's smarter than
Tyrion.
he is. I think that's true also. He might be smart.
Proving correct up
Both
until now.
And yes. Yeah, so I think we're getting a vote that he is creepier as an adult or as a young adult.
He's
and if
scarier
his mother
as an
was
adult.
still alive for him to breastfeed, he would be even creepier.
But I think he would.
Who's creepier, Ramsay or Robin? They're both pretty creepy.
Ramsay's more malicious. I don't think Robin knows what's going on. I think he got dropped on the head and just was raised very, very poorly and doesn't know.
A helicopter parent.
Helicopter parent, exactly.
He's just Littlefinger's pawn for power. Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't really seem to care. That's a good point. The Vale is a great place for him.
Yeah, he doesn't care about anything. When he talks
give
about it,
me
he's
your-
like, sure, all
Can
right.
I have your army? I'm going to go do some stuff.
He was so distracted by that
Here's a-
falcon that
here's
he
a
literally
bird.
just did not care.
Here's a bird.
Look at the keys. Look at the
Right.
keys. Look at the keys.
Right.
Easy to distract. There's
Goes
something
with
going
the
on.
flow.
In there. Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I think that Baelish will probably bring the army to join Jon Snow to take Winterfell. That is my theory. And it all has something to do with Baelish's plan with Sansa, and we're not really clear on what that is.
Now, also worth adding that Jon Snow. I like to ask. It's worth adding. I don't think that Jon Snow is not the Warden of the North. Sansa is, because Jon Snow is still Jon Snow. He never accepted.
We know.
Or does death let you out?
It's not the Warden of the North. It's the heir of Winterfell that matters, right?
But he's
Winterfell's
not.
been
Sansa
taken
is.
from them,
right?
So it was just to get the loyalty of the northern families,
right?
So it's not even Sansa; it's Rickon.
It's Rickon. That's right.
Is
right.
the
Right.
oldest
He's
male,
the oldest male, right.
living that they know of, because Bran is still alive, but they don't know that.
And I don't think Bran exists in that realm anymore.
Girl power will rise in Game of Thrones, and Sansa.
Girl power has risen in Game of Thrones.
Cersei,
they're in charge.
Marjorie,
Brienne,
Sansa, Brienne, Daenerys,
Grandma Tyrell.
Grandma Tyrell.
I mean, this is for all the crap it's taken for its rape scenes and its kind of female subjugation.
Someone asked, is Sansa even allowed to have it? Winterfell, I guess. As a female, I think that if she were the only heir, the only legitimate heir, yeah. But
there are other men alive, or
all the women in Game of Thrones are amazing.
Yeah,
yes. That's quite an achievement for George R. R. Martin.
Huge achievement. And for the record, I mean, I'll ask you. I mean, I don't actually watch a lot of TV outside of like 3 specific shows, Game of Thrones being one of them. So I'll ask the audience if you all watch a lot of shows. Is this a new trend, or is Game of Thrones really stand alone in what it's doing?
Well, you've got like
characters?
Orange is the New Black.
Right.
You've got a handful of shows. You've got a lot of the stuff that Shonda Rhimes does, but Game of Thrones in this world, in the world of sci-fi fantasy, it's pretty much a leader.
And definitely the setting that it takes.
American Horror Story and horror.
I see that.
Which is, I guess, a similar kind of audience.
Right.
So fantastic to watch as a woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as much as they...
I answered that like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those girls got to stick together.
Totally.
Game of Thrones is the best. It's a bit of a trend, like Agent Carter. That's a good example. Thanks for throwing that out.
I would say that House of Cards...
Board Boy.
Kind of falls into that a little bit.
TV's lagging behind with the women a little, but I think you said catching up. Okay. Marjorie. When Marjorie gets freedom, Highgarden and Lannisters will smash the High Sparrow.
Let's talk a little bit about her conversation with the High Sparrow, because that was a very interesting conversation. Quick,
folks, we're getting kind of low on the viewers.
Oh, yes. So
do you have a friend?
Can you retweet and reshare us and let us know what's going on. Okay. If you have questions that are not about Game of Thrones, that are just about life in general, or what type of shirt I'm wearing versus the shirt that you're wearing, feel free to ask. I'm wearing a cheap one too, but they might be different brands. We both wear cheap shirts. So you could ask.
Mine has a collar. His doesn't.
Where you got your beard from versus my beard?
Genetics,
yeah. So we both got them from the same place. Absolutely.
Okay, Marjorie and Loras. I got to tell you, honestly,
Loras is broken.
I zoned out in this scene. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was catching up with what happened before and I was tweeting or something. But this, I don't even have any memory of this. I found this picture, and I'm like, yeah, that looks familiar. But
I didn't even know who he was.
I don't know what happened. I kind of zoned out. Someone, Liam says, same here.
But what about the scene with her and the Sparrow? I thought that was a very interesting story that he told, and you're kind of on his side for a second about how he was a shoe cobbler.
Liam
says, he talks about how many years worth of people's lives have you worn on your back for a day. I thought that was very interesting.
I think the Sparrow needs to get his point across in 140 characters or less.
Yeah.
I think he's just too long-winded.
I don't know how many of you guys would agree, think it would be really interesting. I would love to see the High Sparrow meet Jaqen H'ghar or the Red Woman, people whose other religions have been proven correct.
That would be an interesting meetup.
Like, obviously, the fire god or whatever, the Red Priestess, has more validity to what the Sparrow hasn't proven any miracles. But Jaqen H'ghar, they changed their faces.
Yeah,
there are other religions that have proven their religions, which doesn't make sense that multiple religions have proven to be correct. Is Khaleesi a religion? Being flame-proof with dragons? I mean, that's magic.
She's got a cult.
There's something. So I'd be curious as to if the High Sparrow would bend a knee to the Red Woman and be like, oh my God, you can resurrect people?
I think he'd just have a long story and we'd zone out and we wouldn't even know if he did.
Right. He's Bernie Sanders. He's totally Bernie. He's the Bernie Sanders.
He's got the hair.
He's got the hair. Okay. He's got the viewpoint.
Liam says, I didn't care enough because we haven't seen them. Yeah, they've been out of sight, out of mind. Weak guy, strong lady again. Board boy. She's still trying to play Sparrow.
She's playing the Sparrow. She's playing it like, oh,
Marjorie plays everyone.
She's going to get religious
Marjorie's,
a little bit.
She's smart. She knows, but she does it out of, I think, vanity. She wants to be the queen.
Yeah.
I don't like Baelish does it for the quest for power. I don't think it's that she quests power. I think it's just vanity.
I think she thinks that she deserves the power, that the power is hers, that entitled
It's
power.
hers for the taking.
Yeah, definitely.
The brother's broken, Loras, yeah.
He's done.
Do you think the High Sparrow was lying about his past? Karthik's page says.
Question. I don't, who knows?
I don't trust this guy, so. He tells a good story, doesn't have to be true.
He's a good storyteller. I think he's a good storyteller.
Just long-winded.
Yeah.
Can the High Sparrow be killed? I absolutely believe he can. But the problem is that if you killed him, all his people would
go in and kill the prisoners and stuff like that.
It would be a mess.
And he has a big
It's kind of like a Waco situation, really.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... You just,
it's a lose-lose.
You almost have to let him go because there's less damage that way, except at this point he's taken over too much of the city. So it's like Waco if Waco took over Texas.
Right.
And if you're outside of the U.S. and you don't know anything about Waco...
Look up Waco. It's
a crazy story that...
Tragic story, but certainly an interesting story when it comes to...
there are some good documentaries.
Some good documentaries about it. Absolutely.
Marjorie is the smartest, I think. She's smarter than Littlefinger. I think that Marjorie might be smarter in Littlefinger in that, like we said before, Littlefinger thinks he's smarter than he is. And I think Marjorie knows exactly how smart she is.
Does
she
he?
stays in her lane.
I don't know. Littlefinger seems to be... like, Cersei is not as smart as she is. Cersei's got her ass handed back to her.
I think...
Littlefinger has only ever won. He's not lost yet.
When he handed Sansa to Ramsay, I got to question that. If it all ties together in the end, and that was all part of a master plan, but the fact that he said, and I will point this out every time we talk about Game of Thrones, he says to Sansa, basically like, I haven't done my homework on this guy, but it seems like a good plan. Here you go. And to me, for him to admit that means he's either really... off, like he's off brand. He is not the Peter Baelish Littlefinger that we know,
right?
Or he's just playing dumb. But I don't know.
I'm going to go with the latter. I'd like to believe the latter.
It's different from the books, so I don't know. I think it might actually be that the writers of the show have screwed up, and as a result, his character suffers because he should be perfection in his master plan. He should be the master chess player.
Well, it could be that we'll find out that he is in the show also. Maybe he wanted Sansa.
He used it to get the veil. I think he had the veil before that, though, because he didn't have to give Sansa to Ramsay.
He could have just married...
He could have put Sansa and Robin together.
Yeah, and that would have been fine.
Which would have been terribly creepy and awful, but still maybe better than Ramsay?
I think better than Ramsay for sure.
I don't know. Sansa has...
Who would you prefer?
Blind dates
the psychotic,
Sansa.
torturing 20-year-old or the autistic 10-year-old that burns ants with that still breastfeeds and probably burns ants with a magnifying glass? Although I'm sure Ramsay does that also. No, Ramsay burns people with a magnifying glass.
The peak of her relationship has been Tyrion.
Absolutely.
And she was such a jerk to him. But
now the one episode where it was going to be Sir Loras. That was the one time.
Oh yeah, she was into Sir Loras, but she would have been surprised.
Yeah. And she liked Joffrey at one point. She was into that.
She's the only one that ever liked Joffrey.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Joffrey, here are his parents.
Who are powerless. I don't know. Jaime seems to have no power. Cersei has no power.
I gotta say, it's kind of the same thing with the High Sparrow. Everything that's happening in King's Landing, I zone out.
Yeah, King's Landing just serves as more like the focal point, like more of an end piece. All of them are done. All of them are going to get clean. I mean, Daenerys is going to kill all of them.
They're leading towards a civil war. We all know that Daenerys is coming with dragons. She's probably going to level the place. So it's like, does it really matter who wins?
No.
I don't know. Jaime needs to get out of there. He's more interesting than that. Yeah. Where's Bronn? Where's his buddy Bronn? I
don't know. I haven't seen him yet.
I miss Bronn.
That. I'd like to see him.
If we go an entire season without Bronn, I will be very unhappy.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's Jaime doing? He's kind of a wasted character. King's Landing is kind of a waste of time. I
guess they finally made peace, which is good.
They have to wrap this story up. They can't just leave us hanging. But frankly, I don't really care at this point because, like I said, I feel like there's going to be a civil war. People are going to die.
Are we going to lose?
Whoever's left is going to die anyway.
At the end, are we going to lose Jaime and Cersei? I could see.
I think Tommen's going to die.
I'm going to put money that one of the three are going to be dead by the end of the season.
It was prophesized that Tommen would die. So that's a guaranteed, but it's just who kills him and how. I don't know. So anyway, I just want to talk about Grandma for a second because she is the scene stealer in King's Landing. And really, that's when I look up from my phone. Because she's a pretty badass old woman.
She's the Robert Downey Jr.
We didn't mention her with the girl power.
I did.
Oh, did you?
I thought I did.
I don't know.
Oh.
Even more girl power to her because she's past her prime. but I can't imagine how strong she was in her prime.
Probably I would
Olenna
imagine...
should be queen, yes. Would this woman...
be a good queen.
Be a great ruler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her and Tyrion. They should get married or something like that.
Her and Tyrion. Together. That would be quite a couple.
Honestly, as cool as it would be to have Daenerys on the throne, I think these people are smarter. They'd be better rulers in terms of the public at large.
I mean, frankly, Tywin would have been a great ruler.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been terribly interesting, but he would have been a great ruler.
He would have been a boring ruler, though.
He would have been boring, and he would have set things up for his terrible offspring to run things into the ground in the next generation, but he would have been a great ruler unto himself. I think she would be a great ruler and actually set up a good future.
Right. I'm into that.
Yeah. She prefers to play the pieces rather than sit up front, though. Board Boy says, Board Boy, you are very insightful.
She's a behind-the-scenes,
the women are stealer. The women are so smart compared to the Tyrell men. I love it. Yes, because her son is that witless chump.
I feel bad for
and Loras, I mean, I have nothing against Loras. I like Loras just fine, but he doesn't seem like he
cares at all.
He's got a lot going for him.
But I have a feeling that there'll be some type of bounce back. I don't think they're going to kill
I think
the
he's
Tyrells.
More interesting now.
Yeah,
I'm actually more interested in Loras now than ever before.
Than being overprivileged and whatnot. Yeah. I think the Tyrells would bend their knee to the Targaryens.
And another thing that was pointed out, Cersei pointed out to her Uncle Kevin, that I hadn't even thought about this, but Lancel Lannister is his son. And I guess I knew that, but I didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
This guy's sitting on the High Council, and his kid's with the High Sparrow. And now
he kind of disowned his son a little bit.
It makes that all more interesting.
It definitely made that more interesting. I'm going to agree with you.
All right.
Definitely going to agree.
Okay, we're going to move towards the end here because our viewers are dropping. Where'd you go?
That's okay. We got 7 people. That's still a party.
I get bored at King's Landing too.
But we're in Meereen now, so come back in.
It's also kind of boring.
I think it's worth noting. So if you watch with the creators at the end of each episode, they talk about this episode.
I watch it on TV, so I don't get that.
Oh, really?
I'm the only one that watches Game of Thrones on TV.
Well, they were comparing with what Tyrion was talking about giving the 7 years and negotiating, kind of about how Abraham Lincoln was leading up to the Civil War, where he didn't originally go just free the slaves overnight. That's it. Right. He tried to negotiate a little bit.
Well,
that
Tyrion's
didn't work
pragmatic.
out.
Tyrion's pragmatic.
They kind of based that off,
but it's still, it's some people are going to be killed. Basically,
right.
Is what happens. Like your 7 years are up. Give us 7 more years.
It's nice to see Tyrion bring back the prostitutes and the alcohol and the ridiculousness that we know him for.
He's putting the band back
together. And he's dealing with 2 people that are so biased and come from such a different world that they're not really able to see.
He knows how to play the game. It's what Dany needs help with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
Tyrion is. It's so good. He and Varys.
He'd be a better king than Daenerys, a queen.
Speaking of, it's Olenna, it's Tyrion, it's all the people that will never get the throne.
Yeah.
And Varys. So you got Tyrion and Varys is a dynamic duo of brains, but then you've got Grey Worm and Missandei, who I think they know the terrain, and listen, whatever. I got to tell you.
But they're not wise because they don't have that.
No, but they bring him back to Earth.
They ground him a little bit, yeah. But I think in the end of the day, logic obviously falls on Tyrion. So.
I zone out during these scenes. I can't help it. I like Tyrion. I listen to his fun quotes, and I write them down, tweet them out, and then I'm done. But we've got these 2, Daario and Jorah's excellent adventure. Again,
# bullying. I still have to say that
Daario's a jerk.
What a dick.
I do not like when Daario picks on Jorah.
No. I like that he saw that he had grayscale again, like we talked about.
Now he knows, and maybe we'll see if he's a jerk next episode. Then he's a super.
Then he's a super jerk. That's ridiculous.
I thought Daario was going to kill Jorah this episode. I don't think.
What's the benefit?
I think he respects him, even though he doesn't sound like he respects him.
And Jorah's not a competition in terms of what Daario wants.
And basically, what Daario says to him is, "You're not competition. Right. Like you don't have a chance, dude."
He's mean-spirited. He's being a sore winner. I don't know.
No, you've got the strength, the humanity, the brains, and the power with those 4 together. I'm probably speaking about Tyrion, Varys, Missandei, and Grey Worm. And I agree. They're a great team. Daenerys has the best cabinet.
Yes.
Right?
And now
going back to Abraham Lincoln, you put the best cabinet together and you become the best president.
And she might have her own Red Woman all of a sudden also.
She might, and we'll get to that. Okay, he's Game of Thrones answer to the nice guy, Jorah. Yes. Jorah's great. And what's wrong with him? He's purist. He's purist. Older than some of these characters. Yeah. But he's a good-looking dude. He's talented. He's smart. He's nice. Sure, he's a traitor.
A little long in the tooth.
He was a traitor at one point, but he's gotten better.
No, but he untraded very quickly.
Wait a second. Niam says, I can't wait for Jorah to die.
Ooh.
Wow.
Anti-Jorah.
Wow, Team Dario.
All right. Well, why? Because we're just cleaning up characters? Is there room for him on the roster? I'd like to see him make it all the way to
Jorah is so entitled.
Well, he should be. I mean, he's the he kind of is the reason Khaleesi became Khaleesi.
He's one of the many reasons. He played more than his fair share.
He's an important character.
He's an important character.
Definitely important.
He annoys me. Bored boy. Time to go.
Time to go. Maybe
I hate Jorah so much, even before.
Well, a lot of Jorah hate. Okay.
That's surprising.
All right.
I didn't realize people hated Jorah. All right. Well, it's a good thing you're going to get. You
might get what you want.
You're going to get what you want.
Who do you think is going to kill him, though? That's a very good question.
Maybe the grayscale gets him, or he knows it's going to get him.
So he leaves. Sacrifices himself. Maybe he's going to do some type of kamikaze mission.
Maybe
that could be interesting.
Maybe he ends up hugging someone they hate, and he.
Oh, like he's biological warfare.
Yeah,
now?
biological. I don't know. What are you going to do with this dude?
It's a good question. We will find out. Time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, it feels inevitable, except with that preview of a red woman entering the picture. If a red woman can bring Jon Snow back to life,
then he can. Then
she can cure grayscale.
Right, with some type of antibiotics or something like that.
Anyway,
some penicillin. They have penicillin in Westeros. I don't think they have that yet.
All right. And speaking of these creepy guys following Daenerys, follow us.
Follow us.
Follow us.
Because then you could also follow. We follow Daenerys, and so it's kind of.
We don't have grayscale.
We don't have grayscale.
Don't be afraid.
Well, I would not admit to my grayscale live. That's
I would
ridiculous.
keep it a secret.
That's between me and my doctor.
It's between you and your partner.
Exactly.
The Red Woman stuff is finally getting interesting this season. I'm excited. Yes, I like the Red Woman stuff.
No, it's cool, and it's a religion that's proven to be
true.
Board
Boy, thank you for following. And
yes,
we will see you next week.
We appreciate that.
Next week is episode 5. Okay, real quick.
I didn't know this was coming up, but yes, absolutely.
Right. This is a screenshot of Daenerys emerging from the flames. Right,
because we found out that they're doing a Terminator Game of Thrones, like a versus, like an Aliens Predator type movie.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Listen. Daenerys, Emilia Clarke, who plays Daenerys, has in fact played Sarah Connor in the most recent Terminator.
I didn't even think about that.
In the most recent Terminator movie.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Lena Headey, who plays Cersei, played Sarah Connor in the Terminator TV series, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which was an awesome show. And
was it good? I never watched
it. I
loved
loved it. It got canceled before its time. Only 2 seasons.
It got deadwooded.
Lena Headey was amazing in that show. I liked that show.
Lena Headey's awesome.
You and me,
in everything.
we're the only ones that ever watched it, apparently.
I'm a huge Lena Headey. Have you guys seen the Dread movie? I thought she was great in that.
I actually didn't see that.
That's a good movie. You guys
shouldn't have been
that.
Canceled. No, Lena Headey was amazing in that. I would say she was a better Sarah Connor, but she had better writers.
She was badass in 300 too.
So Daenerys emerges from the flames, and she is the unburnt.
Oh, we can't show nipples in our show?
Well, there might be kids watching.
No, but they're watching Game of Thrones.
but it's not up to you or me.
I'm on hashtag free the nipple. We're going to be at odds right now.
So
I didn't do the screen, but I would have given you guys
she's
the
nipples. The unburnt, and that is not a body double.
No, that's definitely her.
That was her. She admitted it. She came out, and what did she say exactly? Her quote, I'm going to read it for you. I'd like to remind people the last time I took my clothes off was season 3. That was a while ago. It's now season 6, but this is all me.
Really? It wasn't...
That was all me, all proud, all strong. I'm just feeling genuinely happy. I said, yes, that ain't no body double.
I'll only get naked if I could burn 20 men alive with me while I get
naked. And then Ramsay said, come and see.
Terrifying.
You're going all Facebook on us. That is true. And speaking of going Facebook on you, be sure to like our page on Facebook.
Which is?
If you go to facebook.com/it's Essential TV, but it's ESNTL TV. So you take Essential and you streamline it.
We don't have time for vowels.
No, somebody took the name.
Yeah, you only have 1 hour of Game of Thrones.
So follow, like our Facebook page, and then go and hate on theirs. I didn't tell you that.
There you go.
But if you do that, then we can, if we get enough followers on Facebook Live, we can do these shows from Facebook Live, and we can, instead of having a screen behind us, we can do a green screen and we can breathe fire. Because you can't do that on Periscope, but you can do it on Facebook.
That works for me. I'll bring a lighter into it. We can get into that. We can blow some fireballs and stuff like that. I will blow a fireball next episode. Done. I'm not going to do that.
And juggle
that
chainsaws.
Ridiculous.
So I just want to get to this is the end. This is the end, my friends. Next on Game of Thrones, if you're that one guy who was like, no previews. Well, we're going to talk about the preview. Right? We're going to make some predictions.
What do we see? We see Littlefinger and Sansa reunion.
We see Littlefinger and Sansa is not taking any guff from him. She is guffless. She is guff-free. And then we see Jack and Hagar and Arya, and I really don't care.
I also don't care what's going on.
I'm sorry. I remember when Arya was cool. I remember when Jack and Hagar was cool.
They're still cool.
I remember...
But the whole storyline is too dark. I can't see.
That's true. I had to lighten up the screenshot.
I liked when she was selling clams outside because I could see.
Natural light.
Yeah, just bring... I don't know. Just open the skylight.
We can see less than Arya has seen for the last 3 episodes.
Even if the talk is interesting like
needed that montage last week.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Rocky-style montage with Arya and just get it over with. And this is the entirety of her storyline becoming a faceless person. And that's
it. Going to rejoin the Starks? I have no idea.
At the end of this season, I vow to you, I will go through and take out all of the Arya scenes, and I will just put together a Rocky montage set to Survivor music, and then that's going to be it. And you can fast forward.
It's a motherfucking
You can fast forward through these parts.
Yes. What's that classic montage song?
Bran and Icy Bart. We're going to get there. Icy Bart. In fact,
the Bart Simpson guy.
Okay.
Yeah, we see that next week.
Real quick. Before we get there, we also see Theon and the Iron Islands.
Claiming the Salt Throne? What a cool word for a throne.
Whatever. I don't want to sit there. You want to have thick underwear.
Yes.
I'm more interested in the Theon story than the Arya one, frankly. But I'm invested in Reek at this point.
Something's going to go down at the Iron Islands, that's for sure.
And this is the Red Woman we see speaking to Tyrion, and she's got a necklace. She's got a necklace.
She maybe might not be that cute in
Melisandre 2.0.
Yeah.
She's appears to be younger, but looks can be deceiving.
Looks can be very deceiving. Chokers can be deceiving. It's really what it comes down to.
They're a great accessory for your great-great-great-great-grandmother.
Remember that I think she was like an Asian fire priestess that Tyrion sees?
I think we did see one. They're around, especially on that side of the sea.
I wonder if there's going to be some
convergence.
Convergence? Is there
I don't know. I think
a seminar where they all meet up once a year.
I'd sign me up for the Lord of Light. The storyline with the Lord of Light was really irritating in the early seasons.
Yeah.
With Melisandre and Stannis, but I'm with it now. I think it's very interesting. Not just because she brought back Jon Snow, but I think it's legitimately interesting, these characters, because they really throw like an X factor into the game.
Agreed.
Okay. And then we see Bran facing off with the cast of The Walking Dead.
And probably this is going to be his
and the Lord of Light is taking over.
His first vision of him seeing like, oh, this is why I have these powers. This is probably going to be
He's seen these guys before, though. He saw them whenever Jojen was killed, when they were coming up to the Raven.
Right.
And the children of the forest were like, come with
me, Brandon Stark.
But he hasn't seen them like
this. I think he's going to see...
He hasn't seen an army.
Yeah, I think
he saw a bunch of skeletons pop out of the ground.
This is my job. This is what's going on.
And then he sees your friend...
Bart Simpson.
Right? I'm Bart
Who could be Benjen Stark. We don't know.
Benjen Simpson?
Benjen Stark.
I don't think so.
You're alive until proven dead.
I don't think it's Benjen. But Icy Bart, Liam... Icy Bart.
Do we think Benjen Stark's still alive? I think absolutely yes.
I think he's got to come back.
I think he's going to come back.
I feel like it's a huge missed opportunity if they don't bring Benjen back.
No, they're going to bring him back. Everyone is alive until proven dead. Just like Osha. They'll take the time to kill you.
Stannis.
Stannis?
I think he's dead. He's the Hound.
He's dead. The Hound is dead. They're dead.
I don't know.
They're dead. They have to be.
We talk about the Hound a lot. I think he's dead. I think he's dead in the show. I don't, There's room for him in the books. There's no room for him in the show.
He's dead in the show. Dead in the show.
The Hound is back. I just don't think in the show.
No.
Okay. So, Game of Thrones. He is so back. I hope, Liam. Part of me hopes that you're right.
That who? The Hound is back.
The Hound comes back in the show.
There's not enough room.
Benjen is a White Walker. Maybe he could be.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think he's Bart Simpson though.
No, or maybe one of the guys with the long hair or something like that.
But that would be interesting if Benjen is a White Walker and he gets to basically be the voice of them. Like, hey, listen, John.
Oh, he's the man's radar.
Yeah,
like, that could be it.
It's me, your Uncle Benjen. Hear me out. He'll bring back the Bannerless Men. Maybe. It would be really kind of weird if the Bannerless Men never come back.
They have to come back.
They got they cut out the Lady Stoneheart story, though. Yeah. I think that they probably planned on the Bannerless Men coming back, and they planned on doing the Lady Stoneheart story, is my guess, and I think they abandoned that because at the end of that season, the Red Wedding season, season 3, there were some photos that were leaked of production for the season 4, and Catelyn Stark was seen on set. But I think they probably started to shoot and then they streamlined the story. Is my guess.
That could be it.
Right? And so I don't know if the Bannerless Men will come back, but if they do, I think the Hound... Listen, the chances of them coming back, I say, are about 50-50.
My Gold Dragon's
and if they do come back, I give him an 80% chance of being with them.
All right.
You like those odds?
We'll take that 80%. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Statistics prove that people will believe anything... 80% of people...
I'm a gambling man, so there you go. Done.
Okay, I would put a bet on it. Okay.
Agreed.
So, please, in the meantime...
Thank you for tuning in.
Follow Essential TV. Essential.tv is the website. Essential_TV on Twitter. Essential GOT for Game of Thrones. And definitely on Facebook, because we're trying to build that up. There are so many people on Twitter, and there are so few on Facebook. So it would really be doing us a favor if you would follow... or like Essential TV on Facebook, because we'd love to do live streams there.
We would appreciate that, yes.
We could do more if we do it there. We're kind of stuck with Periscope here. The Hound comes back to fight against the Mountain for Cersei's trial by combat. I would actually very much like to see that, Karthik's page says. And
I wouldn't even think about that trial by combat. Do you think we're even going to get to that?
I don't think the High Sparrow believes in trial by combat.
Why? I think you have to.
They don't have to do anything. They have to listen.
Right. Well, if they're going to go out of their way to obey the laws of a trial.
They have all the power. I don't know. Listen, I hope so, because that would be awesome. Okay, guys.
We shall see. Anyway, well, stay tuned for the next episode 5. I don't remember what it's called, but it should be interesting.
Next time we see you, we will be halfway through this season.
Which is sad.
It's terrible.
6 weeks till I'm depressed again for a year again.
What are we going to talk about?
Why do I even watch?
Heartache.
It's heartache.
It's so that you would one day see Sansa reunite with a friendly face.
Ridiculous. I'm not going to be
got
happy
it. Now you can retire.
It's over. I'll never
Scary.
Be happy. Ridiculous.
Time flies when
we
you
will
are
see you next week, next Monday at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
We are Essential TV from New York City. Thank you for tuning in. I am Joe. This is Luke.
And Valor Magulas.